Okay, everyone. I want to welcome each one of you to our Harris County Democratic Party meeting. We meet every month from at 6 and we're going to be at 7 o'clock every month. Okay? Now we'll have the prayer by Bishop Mary King.
Father, we come before you with confusion. We do not understand how this great country of ours has gotten into such a mess, and how many lives are being believed by people, acted on by people, and they know better. We ask you to help us do as you would have us be doing, to bring our country together and acting as you would have us be acting. We pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Now we have the pledge of allegiance. Dr. Bob.
Everyone stand, please. Attention, salute, pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All. Thank you so much. Now we have our financial report.
We have $1,082.45 balance in First Citizens Bank. Since our last meeting, we have spent $25 for our meeting room rental, and we received $46 in donations at our April 14th meeting.
Now we have the meeting of the minutes. Our secretary.
Good evening. The Adelaide County Democratic Party, from our minutes for March the 5th, 2022. City Center Jim, Brenda Phillip Anderson, chairperson for the convention. Mary Lou Eden opened the meeting with the invocation. Dr. Bob Phillip led the pledge of allegiance. Chair Brenda Phillip Anderson explained how the precinct organization was to be done. Each precinct presented was given the necessary paperwork to complete for their precinct. Chair Brenda Phillip Anderson then introduced Paul Merlo, who is a representative of Joe Cunningham. Mr. Merlo reminded us that upstate is the readiness area of South Carolina. He also reminded us that we do not have to declare our party at the joint election. If we are asked, we should notify the poll. If we are asked, we should notify the poll manager. If that does not end the county election director, and that doesn't stop if the Democratic Party representative to the state office and lawyers are notified. Then he went on to say that Joe Cunningham would visit every county and the state both before and after the election to give and receive information. Mayor Rico Hollins of Stone Falls then spoke to the group. He said to reach out to every situation, especially of the young people. Finally, Catherine Bruce Fellman, candidate for the U.S. Senate, spoke to the group. She spoke of her experience and encouraged people to work locally for issues they feel strongly about. She spoke about the need of vote for voting rights. It is the keystone of our citizenship and should not be taken away. The chair of the convention, Raymond Johnson, then led the election of county party officers for the next 2 years. Elected were Chair Brenda Phillip Anderson, First Vice Chair Bob Phillip, Second Vice Chair Mary Hill, Third Vice Chair Jericho Hollins, Executive Committee Manager Bryson, and Executive Committee Woman Raymond Johnson. A resolution was presented by Mary Lou Eden to be presented to the South Carolina Democratic State Party concerning information on several election themes be sent by the state organization to the counties so that the counties will be given helpful election information to voters and keep their vote focused on a limited number of things. The convention was adjourned.
Okay, so we get a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Okay, Second. Our guest speaker for tonight is Burton. Donald is a native of Greenwood, South Carolina, attended Greenwood Public Schools, a graduate of Piedmont Tech College with an associate degree in human services, a bachelor's degree in sociology from Ladner University, and a master of education degree in guidance and counseling from Clemson University. He is married to Jesse L. Hart of Adderville, South Carolina. They have 4 children and 4 grandchildren. He is a member of Marshall Chapel Baptist Church. He is a retired counselor at SC Boat Rehab with 33 years of service. He has received several awards and served on various boards for community service. Past board chairman of the State Board of Foster Care Review, Board 8B, past board member of Piedmont Tech Board of Visitors, 1991 graduate of Leadership of Greenwood, a member of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity, a member of the Association for the Study of Classical African Civilization, an associate member of the Association of Black Psychologists, past board chairman of Greenwood County First Step, president of Dream Builders of Greenwood, a mentoring group for African American males and females ages 6 through 17. He's also just commissioned for the Board Commission for Green Adderville area, a 2011 graduate of Professional Development and Leadership Program. He received an award for Ladies and Gentlemen of Distinction for Zeta Phi Beta Award in 2012. Favorite verse of Scripture, Hosea 4, verse 6. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Favorite quote, knowledge of the self is the key to power. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Mr. Donald Burton. Let's give him a hand.
Good evening to everybody. Brenda asked me to come and talk about what is Juneteenth. Okay. Who all are familiar with Juneteenth? Okay, y'all know what its purpose of it? Huh?
To some degree.
Okay, I'm gonna try to go into a little bit more detail on it. But first you have to go back and do a comparative analysis of the 4th of July and Juneteenth, 1776 and 1865. When the Declaration of Independence was done, we were still slaves, okay? So we were not invited to the party. We were not invited to the dinner, whatever you want to call it there. So we weren't there in that capacity as free people. We were still enslaved. And as time progressed down the road, I guess almost quite 100 years, not quite, 1865, when Juneteenth, when Colonel Granger rode into the fort in Galveston, Texas, and declared that people were free, that is when all hell broke loose in another sense, because the whites in the towns that didn't want slavery to end started doing things that weren't good for the blacks who were free and the ones who were there. They shot some of them. There was one man that was jumping up and down and shouted freedom, and he shot between his legs. He said, "You shout again, I'll shoot you in the head." And he was already free. So this comes from the book here, General Gordon Granger, and the man behind Juneteenth. He was sent by the president to go to Texas to do that. So I read a quote here, say, "The people of Texas are informed that in ordinance with the proclamation from the executive of the United States, all slaves are free. This involves an absolute equality of personal rights and rights of property between former masters and slaves, and the connections heretofore existing between them becomes that between employee and hired labor." The freedmen are advised to remain quietly at their present home and work for wages. They're informed that they will not be allowed to collect at military posts, and that they will not be supported in idleness or either be in other places or elsewhere. In other words, even though they were free, they still were not free because they couldn't go where they needed to go because the laws still hadn't totally changed. So if they went somewhere and didn't have their pass, they used to have a pass to travel. If they didn't have that, they were captured and sent back as a slave. So this is a good book to read. And then this is by Annette Gordon Reed. She works, she's at Harvard University. Another good book about Juneteenth. And
What's the name of that one?
on Juneteenth. And then I love my books. I collect books. I don't go on the internet for a whole lot of stuff, but I do my books. I have a huge library of books. And this is for younger people to read about Juneteenth so that they can understand what it is and the purpose of it. So we'll be having 2 Juneteenths in Abbeville this year. One in Chestnut Park, I guess the other downtown. But getting back to the comparative analysis of the 4th of July and Juneteenth, when you have time, go online. This is where you can go online. You can find it in the book, but Frederick Douglass was asked, what, as a slave, do the 4th of July mean to you? And he tells them in broad terms about that. And he talks about when you rejoice and celebrate, I mourn. And he was telling them the negative things about what the 4th of July meant to them and meant to us because we weren't free. You know, we were still catching trips to you know what. So that is why he said what he said in his speech. And it's a nice, great speech. It's good comparative analysis if you want to look at it like that. But he really put his heart in it. So with that, this year, come July 4th, and if you read a little bit more about the 4th of July, they celebrate until the 5th, which is the next day, if I'm not mistaken with that. But this will be America's 246 years of freedom. Well, America's 246 years breaking away from Britain, because before this, they were under the auspices of Britain, and they broke away from Britain, who's the mother of America, and they, and that's what the 4th of July was about, breaking away from Britain. And then the fight was, the Civil War was about us, being slaves and who were going to be free and who's not. The industrial North and the agrarian South. That's where the Civil War started. Union soldiers and Confederate soldiers. So there's a lot of rift there among brothers and everything because of that. Now, this year, come this year, be 157 years for African Americans have been free since 1865. And the difference between those 2 years is 89 years. As far as the freedom aspect and the progress and not getting progress and all of that. But you can see it's been not good sometimes for us as people of color with that, because of the length of time it's been progress, and then it's always some type of way has been to keep us from progressing in one form or another. In the book with General Granger, they even stopped them from voting so that they couldn't progress back then as well, just like they're doing it now. So you know that problem is a problem, and you know people must know that voting is a key to change, and we've got to find a way to get that to our young people first. Voter education, voter registration. Educate them first, and then teach them the importance of voting and the purpose of it. Because if we don't, we're going to spin our wheels. We're going to spin our wheels. And Juneteenth celebration is a good time to celebrate. Now, the difference between Juneteenth celebration and 4th of July, like I say, we weren't invited to the party. We weren't invited to that at all. I won't use the term picnic because that's another story. But the celebration of Juneteenth, whites, other minority groups, other groups can come to our celebration of freedom because we encourage that, we invite that, but we're not telling you all that you can't come to the party. You can't be there. So you come at Chestnut Park, there'll be vendors there, food, music, some poetry. I'm gonna go into a little bit more detail on Juneteenth there. I will have my book set up, a collection of books, not just about Juneteenth, but about a lot of everything. And so that's about it in a nutshell. If I was trying to decipher it. What I'd like to do is show this though. I heard a man on Tom Hartman this morning say that blacks should be thanking the slave, our slave people, our folks over in Africa, whoever put us into slavery should be thanking them because, and kissing their feet because how we got to America and what the progresses we've made. Well, what he didn't understand and what he was saying, that was not a good statement for him to say, because when the slaves from Africa got here, we were already here, some of us that were the free blacks and the Seminole Indians and the black Indians. So these books here, you know, this is a good book to read. Yep, and we were in the Old West as well. And the black Seminoles down in Florida. Now, these Indians were treacherous, but they fought, and my grandmother never talked about slavery. My grandmother had Indian in her, and you can tell that by her hair, and my grandmother's mom and dad, Indian. So we never had to talk about anything like that. But down in Florida, when Lafayette was down there fighting, he fought a Seminole chief named Osceola. And Lafayette got his butt whooped. And he wrote back to the Queen and told her, I can't hold up a Providence that far away from home. And one of Lafayette's men stole Osceola's girl. And he laid out in the woods for days until he came out, and then he popped him for taking his ladies. But Juneteenth and Kwanzaa both have similarities where it's about family, culture, and community. So what we want to do is educate whites and blacks who are not familiar with it about the history of Juneteenth and Kwanzaa and our people. That we were not savages, we were not thieves, we were not all those negative things they said. We focused on family. Even with that fight with Osceola down there, they were fighting back and forth. And when they ran out of ammunition because they focused on family first and took care of the elderly and the children, they knew that the next morning that Lafayette was going to raid the village early while they were trying to sleep. So they was fighting back and forth all night. And when they ran out of ammunition, they started throwing whatever they could get, sticks, rocks, and bricks, and back and forth hollering such bad names to each other. French words, if you want to call it that. And the next morning, when he got ready to raid the village, guess what? Nobody was there, except the folks who were going to fight. They're taking the children, the elderly, and everybody away from the village. So that myth about not focusing on family and all, that's not true. So we focus on family, culture, and community. My grandmother, you know, was 83 when she died, and everybody in the neighborhood called her Aunt Clemma. But she only had 10 grandchildren. But everybody knew Aunt Clemma. And she raised all those kids as her own when it came out. Never had to worry about being fed, never went hungry. always had a place to sleep, so I feel personally that Juneteenth talks about family, culture, and community, and, we need to take it to the next level to focus on, how we're gonna maintain some of the things that we do through voter education, voter registration, getting into politics and not politics, getting into, the educational system, the economic system, and realize that we are people here too, and this is part of us. We are part of America, and we want to be treated fair. And I think fairness is the thing that's supposed to be, but as you see this day and time, things are, oh my God, things are not fair. And so we have to bring a balance back, and we can start in this room. So with that, I think I'm done now, but I'm taking any questions that anybody have.
First, I wanna know the date of the Juneteenth.
Juneteenth, the 18th to 19th in Chestnut Park.
1894.
Sir,
1894. Of what?
of June. And that's how Juneteenth became Juneteenth. First they said, the day of freedom, Freedom Day, and then it got to be June the 19th, and then it became Juneteenth. So with our youth group, we've been celebrating Juneteenth a long time in Greenwood. I've been a resident of Abbeville for 17 years now. My wife is from Abbeville. So I wanted to get involved in some things. I worked over here for 30-some years on and off as a rehabilitation counselor, so I know the area pretty good. All the way to Due West, Lounsville, all the way down to Elberton County line there, the County Falls. I worked all over there. So I know the area pretty good, but I like to be part of the community, to take part in some things, to take advice, offer advice, and participate in some things. That is what I want to do. I hope that can happen. Will I run for some positions? I don't know, but I'll work hard as I can. I have mother-in-law that has Alzheimer's, and we have a time with that. Just lost my uncle last year who raised me, and she just lost my father-in-law 2 years ago. So we got a lot of things going on, but I still want to be working in there, okay? So with that, again, any more questions, comments? Sir, Dr. Bob?
I got two questions. The 18th and 19th is Friday and Saturday.
Well, it's
Saturday and Sunday.
Saturday to Sunday,
Yeah, right, okay.
so,
So it's gonna be all day Saturday,
and
and
from
then,
1 to 5 Sunday, I think,
okay.
at Chestnut Park.
Chestnut Park's gonna be Sunday?
Sir,
The second question, what's gonna happen at Chestnut Park?
that's where we're celebrating Juneteenth,
Both days.
both days.
Not downtown?
No, sir.
Okay.
And, you know, that's another group, and, you know, you have in Greenwood, there are two groups putting on Juneteenth. Because we used to do it, I did it with Dream Builders as our youth organization, and we went together with the Greenwood Garveyites, so they're putting it on this year in Greenwood, but I told them I was gonna be here. And they keep pulling me back to Greenwood, and I want to pull away from Greenwood to come to Abbeville to be more involved and be inclusive in a lot of things here, because this is home for me now, 17 years, and I'll stay in Greenwood and do things. I'll support them still, but I want to put most of my energies that I have at 68 into what I want to do over here. So any more questions or comments? I may bake a cake and give it away as a door prize or something.
You have to do 2 or 3. You have to do 2.
2 or 3?
Yeah.
I may try to do that. I may. Cooking is my passion. I love the kitchen, so I like to cook.
That cake was good.
Huh?
That cake was good.
So my wife don't cook. She say I'm too much of a perfectionist in the kitchen. I just don't like to buy in the kitchen when I'm in there. You know. Come in there to eat. That's all. Don't bother me around the stove.
I don't blame her.
So, any more questions, any comments? I hope I've enlightened you, or educated some. I build my thing around Juneteenth and Kwanzaa by education, information, and then entertainment class. I got to educate you first, because I like to meet people with different, I like going to other places where someone has something different. I want to say, why do you do that, this and that? So I can get to know it, so I can say, okay, I'm not ignorant about that anymore, so this is why you do what you do. So, the same concept, okay?
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I would like you to name them.
Okay.
Thank you so much. On the agenda, I left off the old business. The old business was the reorganization of our precinct. We have until May 31st, President, to get our precinct complete. I know it's hard, trying for people, because people not participating in anything that we're doing as far as voter registration and everything, but we got until May the 31st to get that done. And also, an email went out about the June 4th state barbecue fixing. It came from Greenville, South Carolina, Greenville Democratic Party. There's gonna be June the 4th, from 11 to 2 at Cleveland Park. That's across from the Greenville County Democratic Party headquarters. That's on East Washington Street. Now, I'll get my ticket free, but if you want a ticket, you can, go into @Blue. I sent out the email, but the address is on there for @Blue, Greenville County Democratic Party, donated barbecue 2022. And she also thanked you to Dr. Bob Phillips of Adderall for the donation of the stumps. So how many did you give, Dr. Bob? 5?
I got, 4 Democratic stumps,
Right.
like AB,
Right.
and 2 Republican stumps. What about that, too?
Well, that's that, and the 2022 state convention. Now, some of us signed up for,
About the barbecue, Amanda said there's 2 types of tickets.
yeah, one for the cook-off, the one that's from Jerry.
That's right,
If you want a jury,
anybody can judge.
right, it's $25.
Right, so if you want to judge, I think it's $25.
Yeah, $25.
Okay.
Right. Should have a good time, and later on, they're gonna have me come and speak to them about our efforts for, voter registration drive. And I have several people here that normally help me, and we found more success walking.
Right, door to door,
Well, door to door.
right?
We sit and sit and sit. No one came up to the table. They just rolled out and looked at us. So when we got out and started walking, I said, some of y'all go that way, some of y'all go that way, me and Truth is going this way. And we raised up, how many people in that little section? There's about 8, 10, something like
I
that.
think it was about 10.
10, just going on the little stretch of the neighborhood. And we moved from there, then the next week, we went on Hazel Street, we went door to door. I found out that canvassing works better than just sitting at a table.
It does.
Yeah. We talk to people and hear their concerns and everything. We was in Calhoun Falls, last Saturday, and I was talking to some people. Some was very rude, but, I'm used to that, being the voter registration director all these years. And, so, we're gonna be up and running after the June 14th primary. You got a lot of Democrats running, and when the primary is over, we're gonna be out there supporting the ones that win. We're gonna be for you, and we're gonna be, doing voter registration drives all over. And Dr. Bob suggests, I want you to tell your suggestion about the, food bank.
About the what?
Food bank,
Oh,
I
yeah,
wrote it down.
You know about the food
It's
bank.
at the, Mount Lebanon AME Church.
Oh, they had a food bank there?
The second second Saturday of every month, they have a food bank. They serve about 70 families.
Right, and then you have the Catfish Festival, and then there's a restaurant in Due West. Another suggestion, if you have any suggestion where we should go, just let me know. And I got canvassing sheets, you can sign up for canvassing and go to these neighborhoods.
Like the apartments and the, places like that, different apartments, whether it's Hickory,
Yeah.
all those, they should have a, room for the, people of that apartment section. That's what we did in Greenwood, where we'd find out, we'd get it and get it booked, and then we'd start in there, and then we'd go apartment to apartment. And we registered about 350 people like that. But registering is one thing, but education is the other one, because we asked some later on, did you vote? Yeah, or they say, no, you did not.
Right.
See, because when you go down the list,
Right,
you
yeah.
can tell them. And how you know I know you didn't vote because you're not on here that you voted.
Right.
So you wasted your time, what's the reason you don't vote? And then they say my vote don't count. So we've got to convince them,
Number one reason.
we got to convince them that that one vote could mean the difference between a tyrant getting in office or someone who's gonna be fair.
Just remind them about what happened in Georgia. That is the primo example that your vote does count, because they elected two Democrats to the Senate,
Right?
including Reverend, what's his, Reverend
Warnock.
and a Jewish man.
Also,
Yep.
I mean, that is just astounding that Georgia, that's astounding that the Southern state did that.
Yes.
What gets the young people is this, and I've talked to them, and it's so much there's misinformation on the internet. Mistakes can happen, but the disinformation is deliberate lies that they are reading on the internet, and this is what they are attacking me with when I talk to them, and I can take the hits. I'm like, Burton, tell me why you feel this way, da 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 da, and I say, okay, show me your proof. Where is it?
Yeah.
But it's disinformation that's been just in their ears, and it's like they're conditioned, like in psychology. You've got your mind, and it's hard to convince them not.
And the other myth that the reason why they don't vote, because they say if they register to vote, they'll be called to be on the jury.
Jury.
They don't. That's another reason why they don't want to go vote. Because they don't want to be called determined to go to be on the jury.
So I tell them they can get you either with your license or voting. Plus, being on jury duty is interesting. I like being on jury duty.
Certain reasons you can get out of jury duty too. If your mother was a baby, you get out of jury duty. If you're disabled, you get out of jury duty.
Right. And your
But you
age.
give a list of reasons. If you're a student and full-time student anywhere in college or high school, you get out of jury duty. A bunch of reasons.
I love going out. This is not knowledge. We will go out all the time. Same 8 of us. We will walk, and I take them to vote. And one guy said, Ronnie Anderson made me come up here. I said, yeah. And I took a picture. I took almost 300 people, young people, old people, in between to the polls. I took pictures of every last one of them. And what I did, when I got on my messenger, I inboxed everybody in my contact. I said, you can send this message on to your contact. Call me if you need it right. I want us to do the same thing, because we got some people in there that need to go. And one of them is to go. You got to go. And so we as a party need to be visible instead of invisible, and get out there and show people that we care, that we are here for them, and get them registered to vote, and take them to the polls, so we'll be up and running, and taking people to the polls and everything. I even took one guy, when I got to his house, I didn't realize he was a great big fella. So I had to call my husband to bring his truck. He wouldn't fit on there. So I called another friend of mine who has a bigger truck. And he was so determined to vote. We put him on the back of the truck in his wheelchair, tied him down, took him to the poll, and he voted.
That's determination.
Yeah, he wanted to vote. He was homebound, and he wanted to get out his first time. restroom to go after he got out of jail. And so he was very excited.
Yeah.
So, as a party, that's what I want us to do. I want us to work. We need to show them we're something. See, now they're trying to get out of our meetings now, since they can see that we're having meetings. So they want to do some things that we got to work extra hard. Asbury County is red. We are bleeding to death. So we have an opportunity to turn at least our county blue. Yeah, we got to work hard. And so after this June primary, we need to be up and running, strategizing how we're gonna do it, when we're gonna do it. Okay.
Primary ends when?
Mhm.
Primary ends in June.
Yes, June 14th. Our next meeting is June the 9th, so we need to be up and running, strategizing what we're gonna do. We have to get ready for the midterm. You know,
Yeah.
that's the midterm.
That's a fight.
Now, for delegates and alternates for the state convention, some of us signed up for this, and who all signed up for it? I got it here, maybe it's complete.
I signed up, but I'm not on it, it's not on the list.
Yeah, you on there?
I am?
Yeah.
Alright.
So you on there? Mary Lou's on here.
Mary Hill was on there?
No, I wasn't on it.
I didn't see her name.
Let's see. I can give you my photo registration card if you need it.
You don't need. Oh, no, you're not on here.
Yeah, I need to be on there.
Okay.
I emailed you or emailed to her.
Right. You want somebody to put you, you got your voter registration card with you?
Yeah.
Okay. Put that on. Anybody else? Okay, yeah, you on here, Remy, you on here, Anna, you on here, you on here.
I don't think I was on there.
I wasn't
Yeah,
on the
okay.
one that you emailed.
Let me see.
No, I
But
wasn't
you
on the
got
one
me
you
there?
emailed.
Yeah. Let me look at this one. Yeah, this here came, I put it on there, this came from Ann Smith. She said it was incomplete. And, let's see. All right, Barbara, you can go ahead and put your name on here too.
Okay, you need my voter registration
Yeah,
card?
you have it.
How many delegates do you have now?
I got. Eight.
Are we gonna go down the day of, or have you guys made plans?
I'm going, I know we discussed going that Saturday, but we're gonna have to go that Friday, because you have to pick about for them for the 8 a.m. The thing is,
Giving you your exercise tonight.
yeah, set Friday.
I guess we need to get.
Yeah, because, you know that Friday, they're having a Young Democrat reception. The blue camera dinner is $150 for one person. I won't keep going to that. $150.
The delegates are
For the non-delegate,
$100 that they had on the.
$100. I mean, $100. That's still too much. I still can't do $100. Okay. Mary, you already signed the term?
You want me to sign it?
Yeah, cause I got. Yeah. You on that side, you wanna take your name off? Take it out.
Take it off.
Yeah.
You put it on there.
Yeah.
Take it off.
Okay, you take down, now, somebody take down the thing.
Brenda, are the executive meetings the same as the regular meetings?
Yeah,
7 o'clock?
7 o'clock. And we need to get some committees together for our fundraising. Need somebody to head that up, and somebody to head up our voter registration recruitment. If you're interested, let me know before our June meeting. So we wanna be up and running. Somebody say something?
Have we decided on any fundraiser? Can we talk about it? And,
Okay,
June, and,
talk about it in,
yeah, the next executive meeting, you can set that, all of it. The next executive meeting, what y'all discussed, April will be discussing. Yeah, that's executive meeting. Yeah.
Somebody gonna be cook fish, but it's on
Yeah. And I send this in, I'll make sure I take Simon off and give it somebody else. Y'all know everybody else that would like to be a delegate. What about Glenda, Amy? Did she say she wants to be a delegate?
That's the,
Well, most of everything's happening on the 11th. Right, because the other thing is on Friday is the Palmetto dinner, the Young Democrats, and then the Clyburn after party. And so that Saturday, the women's breakfast, those tickets are $25. And then $35 for non-members. And then we pick up our breakfast tickets starting at 8 o'clock. You can talk to, I have one until June 1st to send it in.
it's June 11th and 12, right?
June the 10th and 11th.
10th and 11th, I'm sorry, that's
But-
Saturday.
But, the thing that's going on, I don't know how much Jim Clyburn dinner will be at the after party. They say they'll send me the details later, but that Saturday, you know, we have that breakfast and concession, so I guess food will be on our own. And then when the Yellow Dog, I joined up Yellow
I
Dog.
get you, did you get a card?
Not yet, I just.
I haven't
joined.
either, I'm gonna call
I just
tomorrow.
joined, 2 weeks ago.
I
So you want to be a
get
Yellow
mine in
Dog?
quite a long time.
Yeah, you have a lot of trucks, so we can go to the line.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, we can go to
Or I
the-
hope they have soft seats.
Right. And then on the email, they got hotel lodging on here at the end of the email. So if you're interested in going that Friday and spend the night, you know, they got accommodation available from $130 to $199. Okay.
That's per room.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, per room.
So if you're sharing it, it's not that bad.
Right. Yeah. Anybody coming up with anything for June gonna be our working meeting. For June, we will not have a speaker. We will be working, strategizing for the rest of the year for our fundraising and our voter registration. Any other discussion? Anybody? Any ideas you have, just bring it right to the table. You know, that's one.
Are we gonna do a fundraiser next month?
No, we're gonna have
Discussion?
discussion. Because we got to strategize, because we got to get ready. We got so much to do in June. Right, so we'll be discussing a lot of things. You know, that's not. Madam Speaker. Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to say good evening to everyone.
Good evening.
My name is Dale Gilchrist, and I'm a candidate for the primary that will be held June 14 for the Aberdeen County District 2. Just recently retired from Lee Correctional after 28 years, dental assistant. I retired at the end of March. I'm married, I have 2 children. I served on the school board, Calhoun Falls Charter School. Also serve as the president of our Athletic Booster Club. And I'm here for the people, concerned citizens, to listen to them, and just here to work. Anytime I go out to do anything, if I can't give it 100%, I will not do it. And I just wanted to let you know that I am one of the candidates for June 14th.
What district is that?
District 2,
District 2 school board.
Every county, every county council.
Every
Okay,
account council.
Where is District 2?
Where is it? A lot of places, so I got it now. Happy Falls.
Is that John, that's John from, you know, he's not good.
Is John not running again?
No, he's not gonna run again.
Oh, okay.
Real quick, did you say your name, Gail, G-A-I-L?
Wasn't the last time, till the time, Southern California, wasn't the last. The change called the vote.
They have changed the ordinance. They have changed the number of
Let me make something.
Okay.
Be sure that your voting stuff is straight. You never know what these people are gonna pull. If they want you to sign exactly what's on your voting card, you better know what it is so you can sign on. My name is Mary Lou. I was named after my grandparents. That's my legal name. That's what's on my social security card. And everybody takes my name and makes me a Mary L. And that's what they did. They made me, actually, they dropped the L too. I was a Mary Edens on my voter registration card. And I've been voting since I got here in 61. And nobody's ever, I write Mary Lou and Mary's on the card, and nobody has ever said anything. But I don't trust them. And so,
You're right.
You have to be careful with the
check and make sure. You don't wanna lose your vote for something stupid like that.
The same thing applies to when you go into scvotes.gov. I couldn't find myself when I typed in my legal name, which is Robert, my signature is Robert K. Phillips. So I did what you did and just signed it Robert Phillips. I typed that in and I came up just fine.
Yeah. Well, you can handle it two ways. You like, I changed it because I have the legal name now. But if you know what's on the card, and you sign it that way, then it's not gonna have a problem either. But you have to know. You can't just go in there and just wing it.
Okay. Any other discussion? Joe, you give us a dismissal prayer.
Those outstanding. One part, we thank you for this thing, we thank you for how you brought us together, that we strategize, Lord, and we just thank you that the right people will go to seat this time, Lord, and that the people will get out and vote and they will be slack, God. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Okay, we'll see y'all next month and let you know. Hey, how you doing? Thank you so much. I thank you. Before when the meeting started, I was thank you.
I had forgotten about they were having a festival.
Yeah, I They're all thank you so much.
You know, you were right about that. You know, you were right about that.
My picture comes up, I what's wrong with it? I can get it off of my picture. What you trying to do? I'm trying to get it off my picture. What are you going to send it to? You trying to send it to someone? No, I won't get it off of there. I'm trying to take a picture, but my picture comes up. It's updated, it's updated.